All right, let's go. The Eagles have a chance to solidify first place in the division in the official home opener after Dallas just got boat raced by New Orleans. But with the Atlanta Falcons on deck and A.J. Brown out, let's take a look at how the Philly offense can replace 11's production. Plus, why is Saquon in line for a repeat from Week 1? And the reason Vic Fangio has answered for Bijan Robinson and the frozen statue of Kirk Cousins. Translation, there will be sacks, so let's talk about it. But first, let's run it. What's up, guys? Alright, just before we jump in, I gotta give everyone a heads up. Because unfortunately, as the channel's grown and with all the giveaways, it appears that we've gotten a ton more scammers on the channel. So moving forward, if you are a legit winner of one of the giveaways, you'll get a message from me, but with one of the custom emojis, just so that you know it's officially me. Also, I've said this before and kind of a given, but I'm never going to ask you for sensitive information, and I also will never ask you to pay for anything on the giveaways. So stay frosty out there and be on the lookout for posers. You know, much like the Dallas Cowboys, who promise happiness and good times with fans pouring into Jerry's world, only to come to the realization that this team sent them back to the future.
Great Scott.
This team is so unserious. I mean, Dak and the Cowboys essentially just offered a repeat from the last home game they played. Remember, the one where they got obliterated by the Packers. Yet after the Saints destroyed the Carolina Panthers in Week 1, the boys were quick to point out, yeah, but that was just the house cat Panthers. Okay, fair enough, Bryce Young doesn't look like he's got a clue. Granted, the O-line isn't doing him any favors, but that squad's a wreck. However, be that as it may, Derek Carr and Alvin Kamara and the rest of the Saints were just unstoppable, as they scored touchdowns on 6 straight possessions to begin the game versus the Cowboys, with Dallas now having given up the second most points in back-to-back home games in franchise history.
And that is Dallas.
By the way, shout out to the one Cowboys fan who actually airdropped a message to as many people as he could in attendance suggesting it's more than time to fire Mike McCarthy. Sorry, I'm getting off on a tangent on this. My whole point was to be on the lookout for frauds. Yet Dak Prescott's arguing they aren't one.
If you lose, you're down here. If you win, you're way up there. That none of that really matters. It's about for us trusting the process, trusting one another, responding, and each and every day getting better. And I know we've got the guys in there that can do that. The coaches and the staff put a lot into just the emotional intelligence, I guess you could say, and excited, honestly excited to get back to work and tomorrow and turn this page.
I hear Dak's point, although I'm not sure I'd be looking forward and getting excited about what's to come in their schedule. I mean, here they have the 0-2 Baltimore Ravens coming to town, who are for sure going to be extra motivated after their home loss to the Raiders to avoid 0-3. At the same time, you're right, parity is all over the place. Heck, the San Francisco 49ers got beat by the Sam Darnold-led Minnesota Vikings. Of course, sure, that was without Christian McCaffrey for a second straight week. And as we all know, losing a star player can be costly. Which brings us to the topic of A.J. Brown being officially ruled out for the game tonight versus the Atlanta Falcons due to his hamstring injury. But before we get there, I gotta give a quick shout out to the official sponsor of the Philly Special show, Underdog. Because even though Cincinnati and Baltimore made sure to put an end to all our survivor polls, Underdog is guaranteeing you a free pick with a Jalen Hurts Philly Special for Monday Night Football. All you gotta do is use my code Philly Special when signing up with Underdog and then pair that up with one more pick to win big. Now, unfortunately, you can't use 2 picks from the same team, but I recommend a little Ray-Ray McCloud over 2.5 receptions along with the free Hurts pick. Or depending on where you're located, you gotta take a look at my new favorite pick'em game called Streaks, where you start your streak entry by making a pick 2. And then if that goes green, all you got to do is pick 1 at a time until you green 11 picks total. And then you really see the green, aka you win 1,000 times your money. So use my code Philly Special, or you can just scan the QR code right there, and then whenever you sign up, you can get up to $1,000 in bonus cash whenever you use that link. Check it out, or just use the link in the description. Alright, back to A.J. Brown being ruled out. There's no way you can replace the All-Pro, or at least individually speaking, that is. Even still, as unbiased as I can attempt to try and be, I don't see us losing this game. Yes, we're obviously going to have to get more contributions from the wide receiver position than we did last week with 11 out. FYI, the only receivers to catch a pass from Hurts against Green Bay were Devonta Smith or A.J. Brown. However, there's a reason Howie Roseman traded a 3rd-round pick to get Jahan Dotson, with a former first-rounder possessing some excellent route-running ability, especially when it comes to the type of plays and routes Kellen Moore likes to use. Now I hear you, it's not the most settling thing to see the 24-year-old get blanked last week. Like literally only had 1 target and 30 snaps played in Brazil. But having another week under his belt to learn the offense has Jahan ready to make an impact.
When my opportunities, if my opportunities do come, I'm going to take full advantage of them. That's what I was pretty much brought here to do. Take advantage of every single opportunity that's given to me. That's the nature of it. I've been getting it down pretty good, and I have a lot of confidence going in Monday night. I feel like playing here with the home team is going to be pretty cool, pretty awesome. But it's going to be electric. Monday night is always fun. Me personally, I love night games, so I'm really excited for it. Can't wait.
I love the night games too, and this one's going to be electric. After all, this is the home opener, where Philly will be recognizing the legend himself, Nick Foles, officially retiring an Eagle. Plus you got Jason Kelce on the broadcast and Fletch apparently showing up as well. I mean, it's practically like a homecoming. But speaking of returning to the link, the hope is that we get that type of performance from Jahan Dotson like he had the last time in Philly, where number 83 hauled in 8 catches for 108 yards. However, as Anthony DeBona pointed out, Dotson doesn't exactly have the best track record against Atlanta, since over the course of 2 matchups against the Dirty Birds, he has 0 receptions on 2 targets. At the same time, I think most people realize that wasn't exactly with the best offensive usage going on. So insert the new wideout into Kellen Moore's offense, and yes, I think we're all optimistic to see how he plays. He's getting more of an opportunity here. It's going to be good. Now, on the flip side, when you look at this Atlanta defense, they've got several big names, yet they did give up a few big plays to the Steelers. But all in all, kudos to them for still limiting Pittsburgh to only field goals in Week 1. Of course, I should point out that that was with the Falcons seemingly daring Justin I will not throw over the middle field to do just that. Because as you can see via the chart, the Steelers quarterback wasn't anywhere close to giving that a shot. Like, I mean, it's ridiculous. Not even a single pass there, let alone complete one. In all fairness, I get it though, with guys like Jesse Bates and Justin Simmons lurking over the middle, it's not necessarily the most inviting. But if the Atlanta defense continues to run zone and attempt Jalen to throw over the middle, then perhaps we're looking for bigger games from guys like Jahan Dotson and Dallas Goedert. Okay, you're right. You're wondering where Smitty is and all this. Smitty's going to be fine. We don't have to really argue or worry about him because that's the consistent common denominator. Smitty is going to play well, but I'm curious to see, does Atlanta try to take him out of the game a little bit, or who's that extra X factor to kind of step up and really make plays? What do you guys think, though? Who's that wild card for the Eagles tonight? Sure, we could probably say it every week in Saquon Barkley, but in all realness, it looks like we got another matchup where you could see a repeat from last week, especially with Atlanta's starting linebacker Nate Landman officially out tonight. Meaning, yes, good luck stopping number 26. I'll be honest, I think the only hope that the Falcons have is creating turnovers, and especially creating them early, because if they fall behind or they can't get turnovers, then really they just don't have enough firepower to keep up. For real, like who's got any confidence in Kirk Cousins in primetime? Oh yeah, and a frozen statue Kirk Cousins at that. Just in case you're not as up to date on this situation, Atlanta's QB1 is clearly not right, even though he's claimed that he's healthy and recovered from his Achilles injury from last season. Yet, sorry Kirk, the eye test tells a different story, with footage from practice going viral over the 36-year-old's movement or lack thereof. Plus, not only was it the eye test, but the analytics tell the same story. Since according to ESPN stats, the Falcons were in the pistol or shotgun 96% of their snaps in Week 1, where out of the 22 snaps in the shotgun, 0 of them were designed runs. And out of the 26 snaps out of the pistol, Atlanta ran the ball 81% of the time. Heck, the predictability got so bad that the Steelers practically had a tell on every play and limited Cousins and the offense to 51 yards of offense in the second half.
Oh, so you're a lunatic.
Combine that with the fact that Cousins clearly can't push the ball down the field because, by the way, he ranked as the 3rd lowest in terms of the longest completion last week among all active QBs, and yeah, the Atlanta Falcons have a little bit of a problem. Also, this might sound crazy, but the Dirty Birds didn't run a single play action last week against Pittsburgh. Otherwise translated as, we don't trust Cousins to be able to run back there and hand the ball off. Like, come on, this organization has a stud in Bijan Robinson, and you're telling me you don't fake handoff to him once to bait the defense? Sorry, I'm not buying it. That's why I say you shut down Bijan, you limit turnovers, and this game's a wrap. Yet I don't know, maybe that's easier said than done. Especially if you look at Week 1 when the Packers ran for 163 yards on just 21 carries, for a 7.8 yards per carry average. By the way, something Vic Fangio admitted was at least slightly concerning.
Yeah, on the long run they had for the touchdown, we didn't quite fit it right, and got the guy in the open field, and we missed a tackle there, which is tough when you're in the open field. So that was one there, and then their first scoring drive, which I think that one was the final one. We had a couple there that we could have played better. I could have been in a better call, etc. Sometimes I wasn't in a good enough call. Sometimes we didn't fit it early enough correctly, and particularly the long run there, the touchdown run.
I think we all appreciate the DC's honesty, but I will say this, given the surprise of Nakobe Dean beating out Devin White for the starting job at linebacker, this week will be a big week for both him and Zack Baun. Because think about it, if they can show out, and maybe especially Nakobe Dean, then all of a sudden the questions of, well, is Devin White the guy? Maybe, maybe not. He probably for sure solidifies it. I mean, it may already be that way, but this is another chance for him to really take hold of that starting position. Of course, the D-line obviously plays a huge factor in that matchup as well, since Fangio admitted in Week 1 they weren't where they needed to be, yet also indicated playing on an actual football field will be better. Personally, I think Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Milton Williams, and Moro Ojomo help get the job done in the ground game. And then we start to see the pass rush pin its ears back. Add on to that the news of Falcons starting right tackle Kalen McGarry being banged up after struggling with TJ Watt. And yeah, I'm with you, who doesn't really struggle against TJ Watt? But this is a big opportunity for Bryce Huff, Josh Sweat, and the others to pile up the sacks. So I think for me, I'm probably going to go with Sweaty as the first sack on this one, and the Eagles end up getting 4 sacks in the game, considering the fact that he registered the most pressures on the D-line last week, and the good field's going to allow guys to get home. But who are you going with for the first sack of the game on the Eagles, and how much do they get as a total for the team? Let me know in the comments. Okay, one other key matchup to keep an eye on is the slot, since it sounds like Isaiah Rodgers could get a chance to play outside when Quinyon Mitchell moves inside, meaning Q gets a chance to lock down Atlanta's wild card in Ray-Ray McCloud. Again, the Falcons' offense was pretty much deplorable last week, but give some credit to McCloud, who's the top target share and showed an ability to make plays. Look, I think if it's Q in the slot, then we're going to be fine. But if Fangio likes to go with Avonte Maddox or Cooper DeJean in that position, then things could get a little dicey. By the way, I don't mind putting DeJean out there. I think he's eventually going to be the guy for that spot. But just going off of Fangio's recent comments, I think it's clear how much better Q would be right now in the slot out of those options. Also, another reminder, I will be streaming live with Thomas during the game, so feel free to swing on by and take part in the crazy watch party.
Now right side, deep shot. He's got a man. It's A.J. Brown caught. Yes! 35 to 30. The 25 to 20. A foot race to the 10. It's going to be yes! A.J. Brown!
Clearly, as you can tell, last week was wild, but let's run it back this week. All right, let me hear those game score predictions. What do you got? I'm taking Eagles 31-20. Until next time, this has been the Philly Special.